And I told you I did very minor, like Date My Mom and Next, these dating shows from a long time ago. So I knew when we were on break and the producer's like, okay, Steph, you want to get out your tattoo on your butt and you want to show everyone. So I was getting all of these, you should do this when the camera comes back on, or you should say this. So now I watch reality TV with, well, there's producers yelling at you and saying this is a good idea.
Say it
or
this
do that,
way.
or, you know, yeah.
Say it this way.
So I had that happen. And so I don't take it, very seriously. It's entertaining.
As you know, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talked about this when I was on your show a few months back, but the way people take it so seriously, and that was once the cast for my season was announced. So once the show really came out, I was like, my world was very small. I have like 6 friends. I have like 6 tight knit friends that we talk all the time, group chats, see each other all the time, stuff like that. And I don't really make space for people that, I don't want in my close circle, or prioritize it, I should say. When this happened and I was opened up to this like whole new world of the internet and Reddit and Instagram and all the articles being written and speculation and content about content, there's like the show, then there's like content about the show, then there's like content about the show. And it's just like you're lowering the levels of content to the point where people are gossiping about gossipers gossiping about the show. And it's like, and I couldn't help. And it was rough at the time because, there was like a split of people that liked us together, didn't like us together. And, that it's hard, but I was sitting there and I'm like, I was laughing. I'm like, I can't help but laugh about this because I can't believe how serious people are taking this, but like not in a real way. So like for me, I took the whole thing serious because I knew maybe I was going to get married. Right. And so to me, it was like that part of it was real, but like all of the gossip and the speculation, like what you're watching is live footage that you're being streamed in real time. And I just couldn't believe that people took it so seriously when they're watching an entertainment show.
I need to go on a show like that you went on, honestly. Like I'm at this, like I'm going to give up. Like I don't do apps. I can't meet someone that comes into the bar because they're usually, a bar rat. And I almost want to go on a show and just be like, screw it. Just put me with a stranger. Let's get married and I'll just try to make it work. I like your setup.
It's funny you say that about the bar rats because I told you before we're going, I went out to the bar last night with my friend and we had a couple drinks. And on my way home, there's a dive bar that I've been to, and I was there maybe a month ago. And so I try really hard not to judge people, but sometimes I do it in my head and I can't help myself. And I just saw these 2 women there, and it was just, I was like, wow, like in my head, like, oh, they're like bar rats. They're the regulars here. And then when I was driving by on my way home last night, and it's like 12:30 at night, and then I see those same 2 girls outside smoking in front of the same bar that I saw them in a month earlier. And I was just sitting there. I'm like, wow. I'm like, and I have my bars I go to. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm a regular at several bars, and they're divey, but that's okay. But I was thinking about that. Me too. But when you're bartending and you've got your regulars, like you're probably not able to pick someone up at the bar. Like at your bar, would you be able to meet someone? Let's say I didn't mean that any. Anyway,
I'm an Uber. Get in my car. Let's go.
Right. Like, would you be able to meet someone there that wasn't a regular?
Yeah,
like, is that
we
a realistic...
do get some random people, but it's a sports bar, so it's a lot of guys that come in to watch sports and hang out, and it's either much older or much younger. I think that's my problem too. My age range.
Well, I heard you say you've been dabbling in the younger fellas.
I am a cougar. Like I said, I'm a well-known cougar. You know what? I'll be honest. I don't want baggage and kids and animals or anything. I want you moving ready because it's just easier. It's simpler. And so that's what's drawn me to 25 to 29. And they're cute. They're pretty. I'm not gonna. They're young. They're hot. I have a problem, but they have like no baggage. They're like, renting a futon or something. And I'm like, move in, let me take care of you. I'm very like motherly. I'll give them fruit snacks. I have a lot of chip bags, but yeah, the biggest issue. I wouldn't date, and I haven't dated someone from my work yet, and I'm not saying I'm closed off to it, but I noticed there are 20-year-olds that are heavy drinking, which I'm not a fan. I'm like a wino. I definitely have glasses of wine here and there, but not heavy drinking. And then there are men that are like 50 and over that I'm not into older.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't.
here's one thing that I noticed, and now I'm 4 years removed from the dating scene. Maybe what am I? 3 years removed from the dating scene. Haven't been on well, actually, I have
Removed? What
been
do you
on an.
mean?
Well, I was on Love Is Blind, got
Yeah.
married, and then haven't dated because I don't know how anymore. But
How long have you been single? Like, don't count situationships. Like, out of like a relationship. Or are you in one
uh,
right now? But you.
I'm I'm not in one right now. I'm not in one right now. But that's a
Okay.
tough one to answer. It's been a while. It's been
Yeah.
the best case scenario. It's been 7-8 months.
Yeah.
But
No, I feel
what
you.
I'll
I got out of a
say,
situationship,
yeah,
so it's like complicated.
yeah, totally. But what I'll say is when I was dating before, what I noticed, and the baggage piece, what I noticed when I was on dating apps is, and I was like 34 or 35, I would try to talk to women that were like, 32, 33, 34, 35, kind of what I would consider in my age range, maybe a year older. And I found that like they were very difficult to kind of like break the ice on a dating app through conversation with, nor did they respond well to like the, hey, we've exchanged 3 messages, let's go grab a drink kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I was finding it was difficult to get traction, or they would give short answers. And, I ended up making a rule like, hey, if I ask you 3 questions and you don't ask me anything, I'm not responding anymore, kind of thing. Cause like now you're just like
That's a
giving me
good
these
rule of
short
thumb.
answers. You're not showing any curiosity. Yeah, exactly. And so I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, and there was this one specific woman who was like 33. She was a year younger than me or so at that time. And I remember I was thinking like I always read the profile. So like I thought, oh, in her photo, she does things I think would be fun to do. Oh, she's funny in her prompts, chat back and forth, but it would take like days for her to respond. And then it would just be, there's this
Mm.
undertone of like, I was bothering her kind of that I got.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started noticing a trend of like when I was talking to women who were like 31, 32, 33 or whatever, I felt, and this could be wrong, but I didn't feel this with younger people that were like 27, 28. I felt like they had been scorned and they were just like bitter. And I
I
hate to
totally
say that,
understand that. And
but
back to
yeah,
your
that's
like
the
messaging
baggage.
for a little bit. I'm impatient and I need to know if we gel in person. I'm such an in-person energy. And so
Hmm.
I right away, if we're talking, I want to meet in person. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to just talk and for a while over an app or something. I'm not on any right now, but I've definitely tried them all in the
So
past.
why are you not on any? I was going to ask you that.
So I liked your point, and I think too why I joke that like the younger guys, but the younger guys also have a zest of life. I feel like they're really excited
Yes.
still. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't wait to meet you, and I'm looking for something serious. And when I talk to men 35 to 45, when I've gone in that age range, same thing: heartbroken, hurt, damaged, going very slow,
This is why
afraid
I
to
don't
to
date.
to open up. And guess what? I've been divorced twice and I am a hopeful romantic. Like I'm a massive romantic. I cannot wait for my third marriage. I had 2 incredible divorces. We're best friends. I I just love
Gosh, you
relationships.
sound like you can't wait for your fourth one too.
I know, I know. I might do 4 or 5. I'm on it. Like, I don't know. I love love. And so I feel like my excitement hasn't diminished at all with relationships not working out. I'm even more excited. Like, okay, I actually feel so ready too. When you just by yourself, like independently, I feel so ready to kind of take the back burner on my wants and needs and meet somebody where they need me, and understanding how difficult relationships are. This is not a
Hmm.
walk in the park. They're so hard. I'm kind of just, I'm ready. And then, of course, I'm dating young guys that I'm just like, okay, maybe not,
So when they
I
say
wouldn't.
they're ready though, like what is ready at 27, 28? Because I thought I was ready at 27, 28, and I can't even imagine what I would have been. I'd
So
be
I think
divorced.
you'd be
I'd be divorced
surprised.
twice.
You've been divorced twice?
No, no, no. I say I would be
Oh,
divorced twice, maybe three
oh,
times with the Love Is Blind if that was the situation. If I got married at like 26, 27, 28, no way.
Yeah,
Wasn't
see, I
ready.
got married at 26, my first, and I was so
Okay.
young. I thought I knew what I wanted, and I realized his was working out of town, and money, was his like love language was making money, and mine is physical time. And so when somebody works
Mm,
out of town all the time, and I could care less about money, I wanted you here with me. I didn't know myself at that time. So the first one, I joke like, yeah, it's a throw out, right? It was a quick marriage, and the second one, I feel like was a real marriage.
yeah. And that's
Um,
where you had children, right? Too. So you had
yes,
that whole
yeah.
family
And he's a
dynamic.
rocker in music, and so we just really had music in common and everything. And so I don't know, it was a fun 3 years. Like I said, I would do it again.
So then why not the 28-year-olds? They're
So
ready.
oh
They're
yeah,
telling
so
you,
that
I'm ready for a serious relationship.
so okay, I was in a 2-year relationship with a 23-year-old a couple years ago, and I got to
Oh
tell you, it
no.
was I know it was a wedding. I swear he had a beard. I thought he was older. And so he was so mature though. That's what I wanted to drive home. Like he was one of the most mature guys. All he wanted to do was work, come home and cook dinner and help take care of the kids. And
At 23?
yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Super good guy. And so age really has nothing to do with maturity, is what I have found out. Now, I just got out of a situationship with a 33-year-old that was incredibly immature and behind. And I'd say about where I was in college at 18, 19 on
Jeez.
his life goals and career, but he was really pretty. So I got lost in his eyes. But I would say
Happens
age
to the
is
best
not.
of us.
Yeah, and I'd say honestly, some of the late 20-year-old guys have been more mature, more ready to settle down than men in their 40s that have Peter Pan syndrome, that have never been married and have never taken that dive. I'm really worried about the men in their 40s that have not said, I'm at least going to propose to someone and be engaged. I think that's a red flag.
Hmm. Interesting you say that because I'm 40 next year. Now I've been married, right, and divorced, but
Yeah,
um I do, I try not to speculate like this because I think it's actually not good for moving forward. But like, I do think sometimes, what if I never did that experiment? Like, where would I be now? And, with COVID and stuff, I wonder and how dating is now, or I don't even know how it was a few years ago. I, I just wonder sometimes. I'm like, would I have met someone else? Would my path have been different? And it's stupid. Like it's speculation. I shouldn't do it, and I know it's not good for me. But I wonder, like, if the men who are in their 40s, who aren't married, or their late 30s, who haven't proposed, or whatever that is, I wonder if that's more of us, and it's going to be both, right? But I wonder if there's an output there of dating culture because when I was in my mid 20s, my 20s were like filled with long term relationships, and then when I hit 30, it was like, I mean, there were still more. There were one or two, but then it was like it was different because the culture of dating had changed, and with the culture of dating had changed, it kind of find yourself the whole endless opportunities of swiping, right? There's always more people. But then you also find yourself wasting more time because you'll have, 3 dates in a week. And then you're just kind of like not taking the time to get to know anyone. But then you're going on these dates, but they're fruitless, and you would not be doing that in real life. Whereas if you do meet someone in real life, there's like a little bit more of a connection there. And then you can spend more time with that person. So I almost feel like culture plays a role into that too, because there's
totally.
like too many people that you're meeting.
Totally. I think obviously the apps, a lot of people have talked about, there's too many options, but they are unrealistic options, or it's not reality. The reality of the situation is we really should hunt still. We should hone in on one person and focus on one person, or that's how I
Yeah, I
feel.
agree.
I know a lot of dating coaches say you need to date multiple people at once. I can't. I'm such a lover girl. So first of all, I don't like a lot of people, but if I like someone, that's my world.
Mm,
All of a sudden, that's it. I'm focused. I'm zoned in. Like that's why I've gotten married in 4 months and 7 months. I think that's why I like watching Love is Blind. Like I'm almost that crazy. I'm like, let's go. Let's do this.
yeah.
Let's tattoo each other's names. I've had so many tattoos with like 5 different people, and I would just do a six. Like have you seen True Romance, that movie where they just meet and just go batshit into each other?
No, I
You've
haven't
got to
seen
see
that.
True Romance. It's a really good movie from the 90s. Quentin
Okay.
Tarantino wrote it, and it just never exploded. It's one of those cult classics that didn't take off. But
Okay.
he meets her and she's a prostitute, but they just fall in love and like get tattoos the next day, and it's them versus the world. And I just love that kind of love. And but the dating culture nowadays, it sucks. People want to play
Yeah.
games. They want to play cool. Like my
Games.
girlfriend's just recently told me to act busy, to ignore these texts and stuff like that. I can't do that. I'm on my phone. I'm
What?
going to text back.
What? Okay. So first, I got like 5 things I want to comment on that you just said. One, dating coach. So I just had a dating coach, the love coach. She is love coach on my podcast this past week,
I
and
saw a
she
clip.
actually, yeah. She actually is not of the you should date everybody. She's of the like
Oh.
raise your vibrations, follow the laws of attraction, and you'll find the right person. Take the time to get to know someone, like decide, not how did she word it? She worded it so well. Not if we're going to do this. She's like, first you decide, of course, if you're going to do this, but then it's like, how are we going to do this? And I think too
Yeah.
many people are in these situationships with the, if we're going to do this, oh, I'm not ready, or oh, I'm this, or oh, I'm that, or I don't want to label it, or what. And I've been there. I played those games with people, and I've been the asshole in it too for 1 year. And I apologize
No
to most of
way.
them.
Nick, you're the
I
asshole? I
I
don't
had an
see it.
asshole. I had an asshole era. It lasted about a year.
I was
I
too.
was
I
just
was an asshole player from like 18 to 26. I was single though. I wasn't wanting to commit to anyone, but I would kind of lead them on that we were
one.
maybe
That was me.
committed or yeah, monogamous. But then I'd meet a new rock star and be like, well, that's done now. I'm moving on up. So I was just not ready to settle down. And now
Yeah.
I am so ready to settle down. But of course, everyone's married and taken that's probably mentally stable. So I missed the boat on that one.